Here is how INTPs outsmart everyone without even trying. Number 1. They connect seemingly random ideas that no one else notices. You know that friend who starts talking about quantum physics, somehow ends up referencing a meme, and then connects it all back to why cats stare at walls. That's an INTP's brain in action. It's not random, it's pattern recognition on steroids. INTPs live in a mental web where everything is connected. One thought sparks another, and suddenly they've gone from discussing breakfast to redefining the meaning of free will. To the outside world, it sounds like nonsense. To the INTP, perfect logic. There's a hidden thread, if you only could see it. This is how they outsmart everyone without trying. While most people follow a straight line of reasoning, INTPs are out here building 3D logic sculptures. They'll pull an obscure philosophy quote, a random physics theory, and something they saw on Reddit, and somehow tie it all together into one brilliant insight that actually makes sense. The best part, they're not even trying to impress anyone, they're just thinking. Their brain naturally makes these wild associations because they're constantly cross-referencing data, concepts, and patterns. What seems like random chaos is actually a mental superpower. They can see the deeper connections most people miss because they're too focused on the obvious. So, while everyone else is arguing over surface-level details, the INTP is sitting there quietly connecting dots between Aristotle, AI algorithms, and last night's existential crisis. And then casually drops one sentence that makes everyone stop and go, wait, that actually makes sense. It's not showing off, it's just how they exist. Their mind is like a never-ending galaxy of what-ifs, and connecting random ideas is their way of exploring it. Number 2. They question everything, even the things everyone takes for granted. An INTP doesn't just think outside the box, they're the kind of person who looks at the box and asks why it exists, then builds a new theoretical model explaining how boxes evolved in the first place. They question everything. Not out of rebellion, but because their brain physically can't stop dissecting things. You say, that's just how it is, and they instantly go, but why? It's not them being difficult. Well, sometimes it is. It's just that they can't accept anything at face value. Every rule, every belief, every common sense idea gets thrown into their internal lab for testing. That is why INTPs often sound like philosophers trapped in human bodies. They'll start questioning basic assumptions, like why people shake hands, or how we even know colors look the same to everyone. Meanwhile, you're like, can we please just eat dinner? But no, they've already launched into a 12-minute TED Talk about the psychology of social conventions. And the funny thing, this relentless questioning makes them accidentally smarter than everyone else. While most people operate on autopilot, INTPs are constantly poking the system, updating their mental models, and refining their understanding of reality. They're like living open source software, always beta testing their own thoughts. It's both their blessing and their curse. They can see deeper truths, spot logical gaps, and challenge flawed assumptions that others miss. But it also means they can get stuck in endless loops of what-ifs. Still, when the dust settles, their ability to question everything usually leads to insights that leave everyone else thinking, I never thought about it that way. Number 3, they solve problems by accident while daydreaming. Here's the thing about INTPs, they don't try to solve problems, they just accidentally do it while mentally drifting somewhere between deep space and the shower. You'll see them staring at the ceiling, zoning out, and think, wow, they're doing absolutely nothing. But inside their brain, a 4K simulation of reality is running, complete with theories, possibilities, and abstract doodles of the universe. This is how INTPs outsmart everyone without even trying. They'll spend hours daydreaming about some random concept, like whether robots could ever have emotions, and bam! Suddenly, they've cracked a completely unrelated problem from 3 days ago. Their subconscious is like a background app that never stops processing data, even when they look like they're completely checked out. You'll ask them how they figured something out, and they'll just shrug. Oh, I don't know, I was just thinking about penguins and artificial intelligence, and then it kind of clicked. It's chaotic genius. Their brain connects ideas in ways that make no linear sense to normal people, but for INTPs, that mental wandering is their superpower. It's in those unstructured, floaty moments that they do their best thinking. While everyone else is frantically brainstorming or making lists, the INTP is leaning back, eyes glazed, mentally drifting through 47 different theoretical universes. And then, out of nowhere, they drop the perfect solution, like it was obvious the whole time. They weren't working on it, their brain just solved it in the background like magic. Number 4, they notice logical inconsistencies faster than you can explain your point. Trying to argue with an INTP is like playing chess against a computer, except the computer is quietly judging your logic while pretending to be polite. You'll be halfway through your point feeling confident and suddenly their eyes narrow ever so slightly. That's the INTP glitch detection system activating. They don't even do it on purpose. Their brain is wired to spot logical inconsistencies the way a bloodhound catches a scent. The moment something doesn't add up, they feel it. You might not even finish your sentence before they're like, wait, but that doesn't follow from what you said earlier. And the worst part, they're right every time. They can't help it. It's like their TI, that's introverted thinking, runs in the background 24/7, scanning for errors in logic, contradictions, and weak arguments. You'll think you've made a bulletproof point, but the INTP has already found 3 exceptions, 2 loopholes, and a better way to phrase it. And when they call it out, they're not trying to be rude, they're genuinely wanting things to make sense. But it can feel brutal when you realize they've mentally dismantled your entire argument before you've even finished explaining it. Meanwhile, they're just sitting there, sipping their coffee like, I'm just asking questions. This is how INTPs outsmart people without trying. They don't need to argue louder or longer. They just find that one tiny crack in your logic and pull the whole structure apart. It's surgical, clean, and weirdly satisfying to watch, unless you're on the receiving end. And if you try to debate them, good luck. You'll walk away unsure whether you lost the argument or just discovered a new existential truth. Either way, the INTP wins, quietly, logically, and with 0 effort. Number 5, they predict outcomes without realizing they're doing it. INTPs are basically low-key fortune tellers, not in a crystal ball mystical sense, but in their brain just runs every possible simulation at once kind of way. They'll make an offhand comment like, yeah, that idea probably won't work. And 3 weeks later, boom, it fails exactly the way they said it would. They don't even celebrate it. They just blink and go, yeah, that checks out. Here's the funny part, they're not trying to predict anything. Their mind just automatically runs through cause and effect chains faster than most people can finish a thought. They can see patterns, anticipate flaws, and mentally test outcomes in real time, all while looking like they're zoning out. It's like they're constantly running invisible simulations of reality in the background. So, while everyone else is charging ahead with enthusiasm, the INTP is that quiet voice in the back saying, this is probably going to end in chaos. And when it does, they're not smug about it. They're just mildly disappointed that they were right again. It's not even intuition in the emotional sense, it's logic in overdrive. They see the structure of things so clearly that the future kind of unfolds itself. To them, it's obvious. To everyone else, it looks like some freaky psychic ability. The irony, half the time they don't even realize they're predicting things. They're just connecting dots no one else saw, then acting surprised when the dots form a perfect picture. You'll ask, how did you know that? And they'll shrug like, I didn't, I just thought it made sense. That's how INTPs outsmart everyone without even trying. They don't need to plan 3 steps ahead. Their brain already did it before they finished their coffee. These videos will be really helpful for you.